Hi, my name is Jen, and today I wanted to share hopefully some positive ideas and resources surrounding the coronavirus. So right now we are still in the midst of it in the United States, and it's really crazy. It's so scary. It's a little overwhelming. I've personally just been experiencing a number of different feelings. There have been some days that have just felt very overwhelming, and I imagine I'm not alone in that. It's really a crazy time, and it's really hard to figure out how to cope. So this situation is pretty unique from some other ones. There are just so many unknowns. There are a lot of different responses. There's a lot of information, but yet there's still not at this point a cure or a vaccine or anything. So there's just still so many things that are unknown, and with social distancing and staying inside, that disrupts a lot of routines and consistency that can a lot of times give us some sense of security. And so it's just really difficult to figure out what to do, how to cope, how to continue to move forward, what are the best steps. Since there is no end in sight here in the United States, it's hard to even plan ahead for trips or other things like that. So there's just so many things about this virus that limit us and that take away some of our autonomy. And I found that that is something that is really frustrating as well. All of the things that I come up with that I can't do. It really makes me feel powerless, and that also scares me and frustrates me. So I just wanted to take some time and share some ideas that I've had on things that you can do when I am really scared about something or fearful or I feel powerless. I found it helpful, for me at least, to focus on not what I can't do, but what I can do. That way I'm still able to take productive actions and steps, and then it just helps me to stay positive and not be overwhelmed. Being overwhelmed by it isn't going to help anybody. It is scary, it is frustrating. Acknowledging that is helpful, but if I dwell on it too much, then it just gets to the point where it frightens me so much that I can't do anything. So I have to find a balance there, and I found that by thinking about the things that I can do and trying to do those things, that helps me to just keep moving forward, and that does give me a little bit more of that autonomy back. So I have made a couple of lists of things that I can do. This is not totally exhaustive. I have thought about it quite a bit, and I do have a number of different ideas in several different categories. But if you have other ideas, please share them in the comments down below. I think that I'll be doing this in 3 videos, but I have 3 main topics or categories that I broke these ideas into. My goal is to share these ideas and tips, and hopefully they'll help you through this process. All right, so the first category I have are things that I can do at home. And this focuses primarily on prevention, hygiene, and products. So the first thing that you can do is stay home and social distance. And for me, this one is really frustrating because I feel like I'm not doing anything productive then. But because of the nature of the virus and how contagious it is and how much it spreads and how you can get it and not know it, or you may have delayed symptoms or something like that, you can spread it without meaning to. And at least in the States, there aren't as many tests readily available, so it's hard to know if you are in fact spreading it or not. So the best thing that you can actually do to not spread the virus is to stay in as much as possible. And that is a little hard. We want to go out. A lot of people want to go out. They want to help. They want to do something. And it's really frustrating to just stay inside. But according to the experts, I'll have the CDC website linked down below. They say that that is really, really helpful. Another thing that you can do is stay up to date on the information. So I'll leave the CDC website linked down below. If you're in another country, look up the leading medical agencies or agency in your country and see what it is that they're saying is best for where you're at. Here in the United States, they say that some of the best things to do are social distance, clean, wash your hands for 20 seconds at least, to cover your face with some type of a mask, whether it is a mask, a medical mask, or a shirt, or a scarf, or something. Just something to cover your face. So those are some of the main tips. The website does have lots of other info and resources, so please check that, stay up to date. As they learn more and find more information, they'll update that and we can then get that info. Another thing is, if you find you get too stressed out looking at the CDC and reading about the coronavirus, please have somebody that you are close to in your house, a friend or family that you trust, have them look at it frequently and ask them to tell you about it, just so that way you do still have the knowledge that you need. If you can't handle all of it, that's okay. Sometimes we're not able to do that. Definitely be aware of what you can and cannot handle. But I do recommend that you at least know about the different ways to safeguard yourself and those around you. So have somebody look that up and then tell you about it. Another thing, as I mentioned before, that the CDC recommends is to wash your hands for 20 seconds and to wash them pretty in depth, going over all parts of your hand. So there are a number of videos out there that show different methods and techniques for washing your hands to make sure you're cleaning your hands very thoroughly. So I recommend looking into those. Again, this is something that I can do. I can watch the videos, I can wash my hands, I can think and make an effort to wash my hands as frequently as possible. Another thing that I can do is spring clean. And this is something that a lot of people do at this time of the year anyway, so it's great to just go ahead and take advantage of that and use the time that we're inside to really thoroughly clean our houses. While we're at it, while we're staying inside more and more people are potentially in the house more often than before, if they're not working or school is canceled or remote or whatever else, as more people are in the house, it is good to clean the house a little bit more frequently. So if before you were able to vacuum once a week, I would recommend vacuuming 2 or 3 times a week, just to keep up with all of the hair and dead skin cells and dirt and pollen and all the other things. So as you're in the house more, I think it's good to try and clean a little bit more and really take advantage of the spring cleaning. Another thing you can do is eat 2 to 3 meals a day and really focus on eating a lot of fruits and vegetables and limiting or not eating sugar as much as possible. Another thing you can do is, if you have longer hair like myself, you can try and pull your hair back a lot more, and especially if you're going out, you can be really mindful of your hair. So not only pulling it back in a ponytail or a bun, but potentially wearing a headband like this to keep all of the little baby hairs or whatever else off of your face. Maybe you want to use some hairspray or something. I've just found that when I go out, sometimes some loose strands of hair will brush up on my face and itch my face, which will then tempt me to touch my face. So you can just be aware of that. If you do have longer hair and that is a possibility for you, that's just something else to be aware of, so that way you can follow the best practices as possible of not touching your face and just being aware when you're out in public and at home. You can also plan your meals and errands, so that way you only have to go out a certain number of times. And if you're planning your meals, then you know exactly what grocery items you need, and you can plan out a few weeks as opposed to just 1 week or a few days. So that way you're either having to go out less or you're having to have somebody come and deliver less. So I think that as much as possible, it's good to be considerate of not only yourself and your needs, but also the needs of other people. Another thing you can do is to eat smaller portions or ration your food out a little bit more. I'm trying to do this just to be a little bit more aware for my own health, just to make sure I'm not consuming too much, but also to see if I can prolong some of the groceries and food items even more. So that way I'm not having to buy as much, I'm not having to go out as much or have somebody deliver as much, and I am creating less demand so that way more people can get the things that they need. If I'm taking up so much, then that means that other people aren't getting it, and that could affect prices, or somebody could go hungry, or so many other things. So just being aware of how much you're eating, planning, and creating smaller portions can really help in a number of other areas as well. While we're on the topic of going out, if you are out and about, I think it's really great to say thank you. That's something that everyone can do very easily. It doesn't cost you anything to say thank you to somebody. As you're picking up groceries and you see some people stocking the shelves, it's really nice to just say thank you, to talk to them and just acknowledge them and thank them for their work and their time. Stay within the boundaries, so try not to be too close or anything, and have a mask. But I think that it is still nice to say thank you and show appreciation. You can to your cashier, to people who are delivering, to bankers, tellers, to anybody you see out who's working, doctors, nurses, receptionists, gas station clerks. There are a lot of people who are working hard to keep their families safe, but to also keep things running so that way we can all get food and gas and other things we need. So I think it's just really great to use this time to show some appreciation for them. Another thing you can do is to buy things online whenever you can. Again, this just limits the number of people out, so if everybody is buying online and nobody is going into the stores, then there's a limited number of people who are in the stores. So it is good to still buy from places close to you. So if you can buy groceries online or do curbside pickup, that really helps to keep the virus from spreading even more. Again, because of the nature of the virus, you can have it for a few days or a few weeks and not know about it. You may just be asymptomatic, so you may go into a grocery store without any symptoms and touch a number of products or sneeze and not know it, and then that impacts all of the people who come by after you. Whereas if you just do curbside pickup or home delivery, you don't endanger any of those people. So buying online, I think, is really good. A lot of people are doing this already, but if you haven't, this is a great time to look into buying reusable products. So getting rid of napkins and paper plates, or paper towels, or if you're a woman and you wear tampons or pads, there are a lot of reusable products available. So I think that's just something good. I think there are economic benefits to it, there are environmental benefits to it, but it also means that you have to be going out and buying less products now. And I think that's really important. You're able to sustain yourself a lot longer than if you're having to go out every few weeks to get these items. You can start monitoring your spending on a spreadsheet. A lot of people do have budgets, but that may not mean that you keep track of every single item that you buy, or within certain categories you may not keep track. You may just have a general idea. So I think having a spreadsheet is really helpful, just to see how much you consume and how much of that is necessary versus a luxury. I think that it's fine to have some luxury spending, but I think when times are tough, you definitely want to be a little bit more careful and conscientious. You can go for walks or exercise at home. I think that those are really great options. And again, just another healthy practice. Another thing is you can turn off lights and unplug appliances when you're not using them. Just as more and more people are spending more and more time at home, the electricity bill is definitely going to be increasing. So just something to be aware of. If you can open up your blinds and not turn the lights on during the day, if you can unplug appliances when you're not using them, I think those are some really good practices to have in place. And the last thing I have in this category is to write and or update your will. I think that one thing that this is reinforced is that we're not guaranteed tomorrow. That is really scary and frustrating, but with that knowledge comes a responsibility. Do I have things taken care of and planned for the people that I love and are close to me that will be impacted by it? So there are, I believe, a number of different resources for doing wills online and remotely. So if you do get a chance, if you haven't done it, if you need to update it, I definitely recommend doing that. So those are the different ideas I have on the different topics and categories. There are of course a lot more ideas. Again, if you have any, please leave them in the comments below. If you would like more ideas on specific categories or different things that you can do with kids or when making phone calls or other things like that, please leave them in the comments and I will be happy to come up with whatever ideas and resources I can to help out. I do want to try and help out, so if there is something, please let me know. I hope that you are all well and safe. I hope that you have a great day. Bye.